Hello, everybody. This is your educator Diya, and I'm back with the part 2 of the previous year questions of biodiversity and its conservation. So, without any further ado, let's dive right into it and let's get started. All right. So, question number 19 says, among the evil quadrant, which one is considered the most important cause driving extinction of species? Now, as you can see, this has been asked multiple times in different ways, right? So, among the evil quadrant that I told you, which one is considered the most important cause which is driving extinction of species? Option number one, overexploitation for economic gains. Option number two, alien species invasions. Option number three, co-extinctions. Or option number four, habitat loss and fragmentation. As we're aware that the correct answer would be option number four, habitat loss and fragmentation. All right, moving on to the next question. Now this is from NEET 2023. The question here says, one second. The question here says, which of the following is slash are causes of biodiversity losses? Option number one, overexploitation only. Option number two, habitat loss and fragmentation only. Option number three, overexploitation and habitat loss and fragmentation. Or option number four, climate change only. Now here, see, there are four causes that NCRE speaks about when it comes to biodiversity losses, right? First is habitat loss and fragmentation, then we have overexploitation, then we have alien species invasion, and the fourth one is co-extinction. So, out of the given option, the most appropriate answer would be option number three, overexploitation and habitat loss and fragmentation. All right, moving on to the next question. Question number 21 says, in the rivet popper hypothesis, Paul Ehrlich compared the rivets in an airplane to. In the rivet popper hypothesis, Paul Ehrlich compared the rivets in an ecosystem or the rivets in an airplane to what? He compared the rivets in an airplane to option number one, ecosystem. Option number two, genera within a family. Option number three, species within a genus. Or option four, genetic diversity. Rivet popper hypothesis में Paul Ehrlich actually compared the rivets in an airplane to nothing but species within a genus, right? So I'll tell you. So basically, he compared the airplane to the ecosystem. He compared the rivets to the species, and then he compared the wing rivets to the keystone species. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next question. Next question says, question number 6 says, no, this, I guess, okay, it's a repetition of previous year. Let's quickly do it. Which of the following is correctly matched? Aranchiva Vansha, H. pyramid biome, Parthenium hysterophorus, threat to biodiversity, or option number 4, stratification population. Okay, we've done this. This is a repeated question. The correct answer would be option number C, Parthenium hysterophorus is a threat. Parthenium hysterophorus, which also known as carrot grass or Congress grass, is actually an invasive weed which came with imported wheat to India, right? And it is a threat to biodiversity. One of the most invasive weeds. Alright, moving on to the next question. One second. Alright. Biodiversity of a geographical region represents. Now, this was asked in mains 2011. No JE mains. AIPMT is also, so we had mains and pre. Okay, so biodiversity of a geographical region represents what? A. Endangered species found in the region. B. The diversity in the organisms living in that region. C. Genetic diversity in the dominant species of the region. Or D. Species endemic to that region. This was as in mains 2011. Now, biodiversity geographical region की क्या represent करती है? Biodiversity actually represents the diversity, the variety in the organisms which are living in that region. So option number B becomes the correct answer. All right, moving on to the next question. The next question says, study the four statements 1 to 4 given below and select the two correct ones out of them. All right. Statement number 1. A lion eating a deer and a sparrow. A lion eating a deer and a sparrow feeding on grains. They're ecologically similar in being consumers, right? Okay. Option number 2 says, predator starfish disaster helps in maintaining the species diversity of some invertebrates. Alright. Statement number 3 says, predators ultimately lead to the extinction of the prey species. And option number 4 says, production of chemicals such as nicotine, strychnine by the plants are metabolic disorders. Now, the two correct statements are second and 3, 3 and 4, 1 and 4, or 1 and 2. What do you think? So, see, a lion eating a deer and a sparrow feeding on grains. Okay? They're both examples of predation. They're ecologically similar in being consumers. A lion eating a deer is also a consumer, A sparrow eating or feeding on grains is also a consumer. So option number one is correct. Statement number one is correct. Then predator starfish. Now this is from organisms and populations, if you remember, right? There was a predator called a predator starfish, Pisaster, right? It helps in maintaining the species diversity of some invertebrates, right? Yeah. So there were 11 invertebrates, and NCERT clearly mentions about that. So option number two becomes correct. Option number three, that predators ultimately lead to the extinction of prey species. That's incorrect because NCERT also speaks about that predators are prudent in nature. Prudent means they're wise enough to know that if they overexploit the prey and the prey gets extinct, even eventually they might also get extinct because अगर खाना खत्म हो जाएगा तो वो खाएंगे क्या, right? So predate that will lead to the extinction of the predator only. So predator would never do that, right? So predators ultimately lead to the extinction of the prey species is incorrect. Production of chemicals such as nicotine, strychnine by plants are metabolic disorders. No, plant produces all these chemicals. They are chemical defenses and not metabolic disorders. These secondary metabolites are some of the chemical defenses, right? So even this becomes incorrect. So which makes uh, first and second statement the correct statement, and option number D a correct answer. All right, now a little bit some of the questions you might be like, all right, this is now part of the textbook, but see, we will not go beyond 2000. We'll not go beyond the question from the year 2000. Let's just stick there because questions beyond 2000 actually hold no relevance. Some of these questions, even questions from some of the questions from 2005 2000 also hold very little relevance, but still we can at least have a glance at them. But questions before the 2000, we do not even have to look at them. All right. Moving on to the next question. The Indian rhinoceros is a natural inhabitant of which of the Indian states? The Indian rhinoceros is a natural inhabitant of which of the following states? Which of the following Indian states? A. Uttarakhand, B. Uttar Pradesh, C. Himachal Pradesh, or D. Assam. This was asked in Means 2010, and the correct answer here would be Assam. The Indian rhinoceros, which is also referred to as the one-horned rhinoceros, if I'm not wrong, is a natural inhabitant of the Indian state Assam. Fun fact that particularly the Kaziranga National Park in Assam hosts a large population of Indian rhinoceros. All right, moving on to the next question. Next question says, one second. Which one of the following has maximum genetic diversity in India? A. Mango, B. Wheat, C. Tea, or D. Teak. What do you think? Now here, see, if instead of wheat, I'm just telling you how the question can be altered. If instead of wheat they would have mentioned rice, you would have gone with option number B. But since they have mentioned wheat, right? That makes option number A, mango, a correct answer, because it's of course the data related to wheat, tea, and tea are not mentioned in the textbook. In the textbook, they just speak about that India has more than 50,000 genetically different strains of rice and 1,000 varieties of mangoes. They do not speak about the other three. But if you search it on Google and other stuff, you'll realize that comparatively, the diversity of mango is much more than the diversity of wheat, tea, or tea. All right. Now, question number 10 is an interesting question. Let's see how many of us can use our brains. All right. Okay, question number 21 says the table given below shows the populations in thousands. The table which is given below shows the population in thousands of 10 species A to J in 4 areas PQRS, consisting of the number of habitats given within brackets against each. Study the table and answer the question which follows. Which area out of P to S, which area out of P to S shows maximum species diversity? SPQR, come on, tell me. So basically what they're saying is, let me quickly interpret the whole question. There's a table given below, right? It speaks about the population. Okay, population of 10 species. There are 10 species A to J. उनकी क्या population है? It's given in thousands. के इतने the population is given in thousands, ठीक है? And they've also spoken about there are 4 areas. The population of these 10 species in 4 different areas, which are PQRS, and against each area they have mentioned the number of habitats कि उस area में कितने habitats हैं. ठीक है. So you study the table and they answer the question which follows, and the question is which area out of these four shows the maximum species diversity. Now, as we're all aware, species diversity is nothing but actually a product of species richness. Now, I have actually added a clue for all of you, which is species diversity is actually a product of species richness and species evenness. So, species diversity सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि species वहाँ कितनी ज़्यादा richness है species की, it's also about species evenness. उनका number also matters, right? तो see, अगर आप ध्यान से देखेंगे तो देखो P और Q में there are 11 habitats. And also some of the species are completely absent. कुछ कुछ जैसे यहाँ पे E और I तो है ही नहीं. Then exactly in the same way जो Q area है, area Q does not have B species, D species, G species. ठीक है. Now let's move to R and S. Now R has 13 habitats, comparatively the maximum number of habitats here, and S has 12 habitats. अब इसमें हम देखते हैं स्पीशीज रिचनेस और स्पीशीज इवननेस दोनों को कंसिडर करेंगे, राइट. लेट्स से स्पीशीज ए के यहाँ पे हैं 11.3 एंड हियर इट इज़ 3.2. दिस ए टेक्स द लीड हियर, मतलब आर टेक्स द लीड. यहाँ पे 0.9 से 10.2, यहाँ पे 0.48 एंड 11.1. सो यू सी एस इज टेकिंग द लीड हियर. 2.4 और 4.8 अगेन एस इज टेकिंग द लीड. 1.4 0.4 आर टेक्स द लीड, बट you see अभी पिछले 3 बार में BCD में S takes the lead. 4.2 3.3 close enough. 0.8 0.8 similar. 8.4 7.3 close enough. I की देखो तो यहाँ पे 2.2 है बट यहाँ पे 11.3 है. J की 4.1 है और यहाँ पे 2.1 है. So if you see and analyze for yourself, you can see it for yourself that S has maximum species diversity, right? It has both species richness and species evenness. Alright, moving on to the next question. Which one of the following pair of organisms are exotic species introduced in India? ठीक है. A. Lentina camara water hyacinth. B. Water hyacinth and Prosopis cineraria. C. Nile perch and Ficus religosa. Or D. Ficus religosa and Lentina camara. So which one of the following pair of organisms are exotic species introduced in India? कौन सी तो exotic species हैं, the foreign species which have been introduced in India? It's option number A, Lantina camara and water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is referred to as Icornia, right? Yeah, these are the two species. Alright, moving on to the next question. Next question actually speaks about, let me change the color of the pen. One of the endangered species of Indian medicinal plants is that of A. Ocimum, B. garlic, C. Nepenthes, or D. podophyllum. Now, this was asked in 2007. I'm just saying, I'm not asking you to mug it all up, but at least just go through it. Hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst as well. You never know, right? They might go outside the textbook. So we always have to keep, our preparation 2 notches above. We have to be 2 notches ahead, right? So yeah, okay. One of the endangered species of Indian medicinal plants is that of endangered. Actually, the correct answer here would be podophyllum. So podophyllum will be the correct answer here. And if you see that, podophyllum of course is a plant, a medicinal plant. The scientific name, if I'm not wrong, is Podophyllum hexandrum, and the common name is Indian mayapple. So yeah, that becomes the correct answer. Moving on to question number 24. You don't have to go into the details, just know that this concept does exist. Question number 24 is, which of the following pairs of an animal and a plant represent endangered organisms in India? A. Banyan and black duck. B. Benthickia nicobarica and red panda. C. Tamarind and rhesus monkey. Or D. Cinchona and leopard. What do you think is the correct answer? Which of the following pairs of animals and a plant represent endangered organisms? Which of these are endangered organisms in India? What do you think? The correct answer here would be option number B, Benthickia nicobarica and red panda. So, Benthickia nicobarica is actually a palm species. You do not have to go into the details, but it's a variety of palm. It's a palm species. And red panda, we're all aware. The endangered plant is Benthickia nicobarica and endangered animal is the red panda. Alright. Moving on to the next one. According to IUCN Red List, what is the status of red panda? Red panda, A. It's a critically endangered species. B. It's a vulnerable species. C. It's an extinct species. Or D. It's an endangered species. What do you think? It is a critically endangered species, not an endangered. It is critically endangered species. So option number A becomes the correct answer. Alright, moving on to the next question. Next question says, one second. Next question says, which group of vertebrates comprise the highest number of endangered species? A. Mammals, B. Fishes, C. Reptiles, or D. Birds? This was asked in 2003. What do you think is the correct answer? Which group of vertebrates comprise the highest number of endangered species? So the correct answer here would be mammals. Mammals have the maximum number of endangered species among the vertebrates, right? Alright, moving on to the next one. The next one is, which endangered animal is the source of the world's finest, lightest, warmest, and most expensive wool? The shehtush. A. Nilgai, B. Cheetal, C. Kashmiri goat, or D. Chiru or Kiru, whatever it's Chiru basically. Alright. So which endangered animal is the source of the world's finest, lightest, warmest, and most expensive wool? The shehtush. The correct answer here would be Chiru. Got it? Right. Chiru is also known as Tibetan antelope. Alright. Moving on to the next question. Next question is, wildlife is continuously decreasing. What is the main reason for this? Of this. A. Predation. B. Cutting down of forest. C. Destruction of habitat. D. Hunting. See, like some of us might say cutting down of forest, some of us might say hunting, some of us might. But let's just answer according to the textbook, where the textbook clearly mentioned that habitat loss and fragmentation is what is driving us to extinction. That is one of the major factors, right? So if if we take that into consideration, option number C becomes the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. Alright, moving on to question. Now, some of you might be like, why are we even doing this? What did I tell you? Let's be on the safer side. Let's leave no question from the year 2000 till the year 2000. Let's just go through all the questions at least once, right? Okay, question number 29 is, Indri lemur is found in A. Madagascar, B. Mauritius, C. India, or D. Sri Lanka? What do you think is the correct answer? Now, Indri lemur is found in Madagascar. Option number A becomes the correct answer. So, Indri lemur, it's actually the largest living lemur. It's found only in the eastern rainforest of Madagascar Island. So basically, in a way, we can say that it is endemic to Madagascar. Not just that, when I looked for the word, what exactly is a lemur? If I were to tell you, lemur is one of the oldest primates. So just like in humans, we have kingdom Animalia. Then after kingdom, what do we have? Kingdom. Then we have phylum. What is our phylum? We have phylum Chordata. In kingdom, phylum, we have class. No. Before class, what do we? Okay, class. Class is Mammalia. Then after class, what do we have? What is the order? Then after class, we have order. Order is Primata. So that's how we're somewhere related. So we actually relate to lemurs at the level of order. So they are one of the oldest primates. They came even before monkeys and apes. Not just that. Yeah, that is it. You don't have to know more than that. If you are really interested, I'm going to even show you the picture of what a lemur actually looks like. This is pretty much what they actually look like, right? You can see like really long-tailed. Look at the eyes. Long-tailed. The eyes. That's pretty much what a lemur actually looks like. Alright, moving on. Question number 30. Occurrence of endemic species in South America and Australia is due to A. These species have been extinct from the other regions. B. Continental separation. C. There is no terrestrial route to these places. Or D. Retrogressive evolution. Now, occurrence of endemic species, these rare species which are not found anywhere else in the world, majorly in South America and Australia, is due to like Australia where we have Australian marsupials, right? And yeah, why are these endemic species so common in South America and Australia? Is it because these species have been extinct from the other regions? Or is it like key species always they've been extinct from other regions? Or is it because of continental separation? Or is it because of the fact that there's no terrestrial route to these places? And D, retrogressive evolution. So the correct answer here would be option number B, continental separation. I'll tell you why. Now, see, this is actually due to continental separation. Yeah, the continental drift that happened, right? There was a mainland जिसमें से ऑस्ट्रेलिया अलग हो गया था. अब ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जो मासूम animals चले गए, they did not have to compete with other animals of the mainland. So hence, they became, they thrived in that area and they became the endemic species. ठीक है, तो वो continental separation की वजह से. Moving on to questions, like now see, this is from 1999, when we're gonna restrain ourselves from solving this. We'll not solve this as well, we'll not solve this as well. Okay, we'll not go beyond 2000, don't worry. 1996, we won't solve this, we won't solve this, we won't solve this. Alright, question from 2012, AIPMT 2012. Question says, which one of the following areas in India is a hotspot of biodiversity? A. Eastern Ghats, B. Gangetic Plains, C. Sundarbans, or D. Western Ghats. Now the correct answer here would be D. Western Ghats. Which one of the following areas in India is a hotspot of biodiversity? Western Ghats, right? It's a hotspot of biodiversity. Alright. India वैसे भी has 3 major biodiversity hotspots, and what are they? They are the Indo-Burma region, the Western Ghats in that Sri Lanka wala portion, and the Himalayan stretch, the Himalayan range basically. Alright, now another question. This is from Mains 2012, as you all can see, right? Now let's solve the question. The question says, one second, let me change the color quickly. The color to red. Alright. Select the correct statement about biodiversity. Option number A says, the desert areas of, you have to select the correct statement. So the desert areas of Rajasthan and Gujarat have a very high level of desert animal species as well as numerous rare animals. Option number B is large-scale planting of BT cotton has no adverse effect on biodiversity. C is Western Ghats have a very high degree of species richness and endemism. D, conservation of biodiversity is justified pursued by the developed countries. Okay. Now select the correct statement about biodiversity. What do you think would be the correct statement according to you? Now see, desert areas of Rajasthan and Gujarat, do they have like a very high level of desert animal species? What are the variety of animals? No, that's not the case, right? So we eliminate option number 1. Now large-scale planting of BT cotton has no adverse effect on biodiversity. That's incorrect as well. Because we in fact India we have this GEAC, the government has set up this company called GEAC, okay? जिसमें जिसका whole intent is to just keep a check कि हम genetic research में इतना आगे ना चले जाएं, इतना ज़्यादा ना involved हो जाएं that we completely neglect the environment, right? Because all of this has adverse effects on the environment, right? Option number C is Western Ghats have a very high degree of species richness and endemism. मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा species richness है, बहुत काफ़ी तरीके की species मिलती हैं, काफ़ी सारे endemic species मिलती हैं which are not found anywhere else in the world. So that makes option number C a correct answer. Conservation of biodiversity is just a fad. Fad is nothing but like a like a trend or like a craze है बस मतलब या फिर हाँ मतलब एक तरीके से कह सकते हैं कि ये जो कंजर्वेशन ऑफ बायोडाइवर्सिटी को बचाओ इट्स जस्ट अ ट्रेंड विच इज़ बीइंग परस्यूड बाय डेवलपमेंट इसके बस नाम के लिए कर रहे हैं तो दे जस्ट क्रेज में कि चलो बिकॉज एवरीबॉडी इज डूइंग इट लेट्स डू इट एज वेल वैसे वाला ओके Now, option number 52, or question number 52 is, sacred groves are specially useful in A, generating environmental awareness, B, preventing soil erosion, C, year-round flow of water in rivers. Option number C is year-round flow of water in rivers, or option number D is conserving rare and threatened species. Now, this was asked in Mains 2012. Now, sacred groves are specially useful in generating environmental awareness, preventing soil erosion, year-round flow of water in rivers, or conserving rare and threatened species. So what is the whole intent behind sacred groves? What do you think? See, the actual intent behind creating, now there could be multiple correct answers, but let's answer it in terms of our textbook. What does the textbook have to say? See, all of these could be uses of sacred groves, but they're especially useful in conserving the rare and threatened species, alright? Then we have the next question number 53. Now, I think we'll have to do a part 3 as well. Do we have to? Let's see how many more questions do we have. Okay, let's try wrapping it up in this particular video as well. Let's quickly get done with this. Now, consider the following statements A to D, each with one or two blanks, and answer our questions accordingly. Bears go into dash during winter and to dash cold weather. Like, bears go to dash during winter and to dash cold weather. What do you think? Okay, so let's mark our answers. Bears go into dash during winter to dash cold weather. Actually, bears go to hibernate, right? So if that is taken into consideration, we go with D ka first. The first में आएगा hibernation. Bears go into hibernation during winter to do what? To actually escape cold weather. And then B may we have a conical H pyramid with broad base. So a pyramid with a broad base, with a broader base, represents dash human population. That actually represents, if see there are more number of individuals in the pre-reproductive age group than compared to the reproductive and the post-reproductive, we refer to it as the expanding human population. So 3 में आएगा expanding. A wasp pollinating a fig flower is an example of mutualism. But here they've not mentioned about mutualism. So 4th में actually mutualism आना चाहिए था. And an area with high level of species richness is known as एक area with this lot of species richness, lot of endemism. It's actually referred to as a hotspot, right? So that makes option number D a correct answer. I'm solving with you guys. Okay. Talking about question number 55, which says tiger is not a resident in which one of the following national parks? A. Sundarbans, B. Gir, C. Jim Corbett, or D. Ranthambore. This was asked in 2009. So the correct answer here would be option number B, which is Gir National Park. So tigers are actually not residents of Gir National Park, which is famous for or a home to Asiatic lions and not tigers, right? So okay, that way makes option number B the correct answer. Moving on to the next question. Next question says, which one of the following is not observed in biodiversity hotspots? Which one of the following is not observed in biodiversity hotspots? A. Lesser interspecific competition. B. Species richness. C. Endemism. Or D. Accelerated species loss. Which of the following is not observed in the biodiversity hotspots? What do you think? I think the correct answer here would be option number A. Lesser interspecific competition is not a characteristic or not a feature which is observed in biodiversity hotspots. I'll tell you why. Because see, how do we identify what are the benchmarks or what are the criteria that an area has to fulfill in order to be referred to as a biodiversity hotspot? It is that high species richness or endemism होना चाहिए, endangered species ज़्यादा होने चाहिए, accelerated species loss, all of these are features. But अब जब हम बोलते हैं species richness होती है biodiversity hotspots are have species richness. So due to the high number of species which are found in these biodiversity hotspots, there's going to be intense competition for the resources. Are you trying to understand what I'm saying? There's going to be intense competition for the resources, so there'll be high interspecific competition. तो और ज़्यादा होगा interspecific competition. ठीक है, that makes option number A a correct answer. All right, moving on to the next question. Okay. 57 is World Summit on Sustainable Development 2002 was held in A. Argentina, B. South Africa, C. Brazil, or D. Sweden. What do you think? So I think even this data though is mentioned in the NCERT textbook as well, where they speak about this was the follow-up of the Earth Summit, right? The World Summit on Sustainable Development, which was conducted in 2002, was held in Johannesburg, South Africa, right? I hope you're able to connect the dots. All right, few more questions and we'll be good to go. Let's come on, quickly wrap it all up. Identify the odd combination of the habitat and the particular animal concerned. A. Sundarbans, Bengal tiger. B. Perrier elephant. C. Run of Kutch, wild ass. Or D. Dachigam National Park, snow leopard. Now you have to identify the odd combination of the habitat and the particular animal. कि कौन सी habitat और उसमें रहने वाला animal incorrectly matched है, incorrectly paired है. Okay, so the correct answer here would be option number D. Dachigam National Park, snow leopard. See, I think we did a question similar to this in the previous part where we spoke about that Dachigam National Park is actually famous for its population of Kashmir stag or the hangul. Right, the hangul. This is A, guys. Right, hangul. So yeah, it's not famous for snow leopards. Whereas Sundarbans, they are for Bengal tigers, Perrier for elephant, Run of Kutch for snow for the wild ass, and Dachigam National Park is actually famous for Kashmir stag. All right, quickly, we're almost nearing the end. Which of the following is considered a hotspot of biodiversity in India? A. Aravalli Hills. B. Western Ghats. C. The Indo-Gangetic Plains. Or D. Western Ghats. The correct answer here would be option number B. Western Ghats. Next question is from Diya. Okay. The year is not mentioned. Which one of the following is not included under in situ conservation? इनमें in situ conservation में कौन सा नहीं आता है? A. National Park. B. Sanctuary. Here by sanctuary they mean the wildlife sanctuary. C. Botanical Garden. Or D. Biosphere Reserve. Now the correct answer here would be which of the following is not included, they're asking. C. Botanical Garden. Botanical Garden, zoological parks and wildlife safari parks all come under ex situ conservation. Alright. Now this one. This is not part of the textbook, but as before 2000, after 2000, we'll do this. Biodiversity Act of India was passed by the Parliament in the year 1992, 1996, 2000 or 2002. The Biodiversity Act of India was passed by the Parliament in the year 1992, 1996, 2000 or 2002. What do you think? So option number D becomes the correct answer, 2002. So the biological, biological I'm saying. Why do I keep saying biological for some reason? It's biodiversity. Biodiversity Act of India was actually passed in the year 2002, and it aims to, the entire aim was to actually conserve biological, again, see, I did the same blunder again. So this Biodiversity Act of India was passed in the year 2002, and the whole aim was to conserve the biodiversity in India, right? Next one. This is from 2004. In your opinion, which is the most effective way to conserve the plant diversity of an area? By tissue culture method, by creating biosphere reserves, by creating botanical gardens, or by developing seed banks? This was asked in 2004. You have to give your opinion, and it does not necessarily mean that your opinion is going to be the right opinion. So think and answer. Okay, so what do you think should be the correct answer? See, now a question, the exact same question was also asked in Manipal 2007. Now, these are the kind of tricky questions which were asked, back then. So, in your opinion, what should be the most effective way to conserve plant diversity? It should be option number B, by creating biosphere reserve. Why? I'll tell you why. Because by creating biosphere reserve comes under in situ conservation, so on-site conservation. You're not conserving the plant diversity outside of its natural habitat, so thereby conserving all the other components of the ecosystem. So among these three, why do we choose biodiversity reserve? Is biosphere reserve actually is due to the fact that it's a method of in situ conservation. All right, moving on to the one of the last few questions. Viable material of endangered species can be preserved by A. Gene bank, B. Gene library, C. herbarium, or D. gene pool. Viable material of endangered species can actually be preserved by keeping them in gene banks. So we have these gene banks. Okay, so two more left. MAB stands for Mammals and Biosphere, Mammals and Biology Programs, Men in Biology Program, and Man and Biosphere Program. This was asked in 1997, but somewhere still holds relevance, because if you study the topic biosphere reserves, they do talk about the MAP programs. So the correct answer would be option number D. It's the Man and Biosphere Program. Now, the last question for the day and for the chapter. Identify the correct match between Tiger Reserve and its state. Manas, Assam, Corbett, Madhya Pradesh, Bandipur, Tamil Nadu, and Palamu, Odisha. Now, this was asked in 1995. Does not hold relevance, But since we have read the question now, let's answer it as well. So the correct answer here would be option number A, which is Manas. Manas Tiger Reserve is in Assam. Corbett Tiger Reserve is actually in Uttarakhand and not Madhya Pradesh. Bandipur Tiger Reserve is actually in Karnataka and not Tamil Nadu. And Palamu Tiger Reserve is in Jharkhand. So Palamu Tiger Reserve is actually in Jharkhand and not Odisha. That makes option number A a correct answer. And with that, we come to the end of this particular series, or not this particular series, but this particular chapter. And I hope you had a good time. We've tried to cover all the questions that have been asked in previous years from this chapter, and I hope you had a good time. And happy learning, and do let me know your valuable feedbacks in the comments down below. And yeah, until next time, this is Diya signing off.